So we're here at the Mott House for the very first Climate Desk Live event. It's just a month before the election, and so what we're going to talk about is all this polling data that seems to suggest that an issue nobody's discussing in the campaign really, climate change, is a potential political winner because it mobilizes independents, mobilizes swing voters. So we're going to look at the data on that. We've got some experts to talk about it. So let's go on inside and let's hear what they have to say. My colleagues at the Climate Desk have sort of done an awesome job letting us visualize. So this is just one of the surveys, one of many, and this one actually was taken before all the dramatic wild weather of the summer, which had a huge impact on public opinion. I think we'll hear more about that. But this was before, and you can already see Americans who believe that the U.S. should work to combat global warming, yeah, lots of Democrats, but independents, 68%, agree with that. And that's going to be a recurrent theme in this polling.
It was always going to be the case that whenever the reality, the visible reality of climate change became so painfully obvious that you couldn't deny it anymore, that it was going to flip over to a winning issue. The question is, when was that going to happen?
So another thing that I'm thinking as I hear all this is we've seen national polls, a number of them, and they are consistent. But the campaign, everybody knows, is being fought in only a couple of states. And the strategists are working at a very granular level. Okay, what's going to work in Ohio? So the question is, can we trust the national polls and how they show independents moving to apply to swing states? Or do the candidates know a lot of things that we don't know? And maybe they're actually being smart.
Colorado and New Mexico are two swing states that have experienced extreme wildfires, maybe the largest fire season in U.S. history. Florida is on the cutting edge of climate change for a whole variety of reasons, not least of which extreme weather, but also sea level rise.
You know, we're reaching now the point where almost every state is getting some sort of extreme weather event that is off the charts, including that derecho that ripped across the country and went into Virginia.
This is the thing that as a journalist, when I'm reporting this story and I still don't have an answer, it almost sounds like there's somebody behind the curtains and they're like conspiring to have the candidates have bad messaging. I mean, but that's probably not true. The world doesn't work that way. So what is the cause?
By the spring of 2009, with the fiscal crisis, there was a decision made and adopted not to talk about climate change. That was adopted by the majority of the environmental groups and by the White House. I was at that meeting. Bill McKibben stood up and said, this is a mistake. It's going to come back and haunt us. And we know what happened in the subsequent couple of years. ClimateGate, when there's a vacuum, nature moves in this case it was. Fossil fuel companies, climate deniers, and we saw public opinion shifting in a negative direction.
I will absolutely blame someone, because I have relatively high confidence based on conversations I've had that David Axelrod is the guy who shut down a lot of this talk and even went up to the Hill and told the Dems not to message the climate science.
The biggest problem, once people have actually accepted that climate change is happening and that this extreme weather is an indication of it, everybody knows what the biggest problem is. Fatalism. Okay, we can't do anything about it. I think a lot of us feel that. Well, actually, if you say no one should doubt what America is America's ingenuity and resolve, those who say nothing can be done about climate change forget who we are and what we can do. People are so ready for solutions at that point. They are all over that message.
Our purpose was protecting the free world. That was the rallying cause for American values. I actually think that climate change, along with several other issues like broader economic empowerment and poverty alleviation, have the opportunity to inspire people about what makes America great, what makes it special. I think this can tap into the notion of American exceptionalism and American greatness.
So I think we learned a lot today. I think the most important thing we learned is that extreme weather over the summer has really changed the complexion of this issue. It's changed the public. People really know about climate change. They feel like it's affecting their lives. And what I was really probably most struck by was the point that even in swing states, it's not just national data showing that this affects independents and that this affects swing voters, but in the states that the campaigns are focusing on now, they argue that it's a really good message too.